Okay, so we've learnt a lot about strings and String Builder. Let's practice some tricky questions from exam and interview perspective. Pause the video and have your answer ready. Then watch me solve it. String A equals high, so object high is created in SCP. Next, B equals A means B should point to the object where A is pointing, right? So, internally, it looks like this. Next, string C is created using new operator. So, new string high is created in heap and C points to it. What about the SCP? Will a new object be created in SCP? No. String object high already exists there, so no new object is created in SCP. Next, string D equals high. As object of the same value exists in SCP, no new object is created. D refers to the same existing object of SCP. String E is created using new operator and same value high. As the new operator was used, a new object will be created in heap. So, another object of high is created and E points to this object. Also, as object of same data already exists in SCP, no duplicate high object is created there. Okay, is A double equal to B? Always remember that this operator checks if two references are pointing to the same object or not. A and B refer to the same object, so output is true. Next, B and C refer to different objects as you can see, so next SOPLN prints false. What about A and D? They both refer to the same object, so we get true. Lastly, C and E refer to different objects, so last SOPLN prints false. This is the final output. What about this? Object S1 first gets created in SCP. In the next statement, the toUpperCase function is called. It returns the string Java in uppercase. But is the value stored anywhere? No. So, no new reference points to this new object. It remains in SCP like a free electron. In short, S1 continues to point to the old object. First SOPLN hence prints this. Then, we're looking for index of the uppercase alphabet V. But the letter V in object S1 is in lowercase. As the alphabet passed is not found, the index of function returns -1 in output. This is a tricky one. Guess the output. S1 gets created in SCP. String of S2 is again the word OK, but with a blank space in the end. Now, what you need to know is that the trim method always returns the resulting string using the new keyword, and this is only if there is something to trim. If there is no blank space in beginning or end of string, then trim is not applicable, right? So, in such cases, when trim is called, the method does nothing. It simply returns reference of the original object. Here for S2, there is one blank space after OK, and then trim is called. So, trim is applicable. Java trims the string's blank space and returns the resulting string object using the new keyword. So, it will get created on heap. As this result is stored in S2, S2 will now point to it. Okay? Now, equals method of string class compares data of two strings. Is data of S1 and S2 identical? Yes. So, first output is true. Next, are S1 and S2 pointing to the same object? Of course not, right? They are two different objects as you can see. So, second SOPLN prints false. To summarize, whatever we learned in this question applies not just to trim, but to all methods of string class that return a string as a result. What about this? S1 is in SCP pool. Then, to lowercase is called on the string literal ABC. What we studied in the last question is applicable to all string methods that return a string. So, the same rule applies to the toLowercase function. If applicable, Java converts the string to lowercase and returns the result using new keyword. But if there is no alphabet in lowercase, then toLowercase does nothing. It returns reference of existing object. For the literal ABC of S2, is there any letter that's not in lowercase? No. So, Java does nothing. There is an ABC string already present in SCP. It will get reused and the toLowercase function returns reference of this object. Now, are S1 and S2 pointing to the same object? Yes. Hence, SOPLN prints true. Then for S3, the A of literal ABC is not in lowercase. So, toLowercase is applicable here. Java converts this A to lowercase and returns the resulting string using new keyword. So, this object hence is on heap. As this result is stored in S3, S3 points to this object. Now, are S1 and S3 pointing to the same object? No. What about S2 and S3? No. So, output for the other two SOPLN statements is false. Okay? What about this? This is the rule, right? Is trim applicable for S1? Literal OK of S1 has blank spaces in the end, so yes. Java will trim these spaces and return the result using the new keyword. Right? Hence, this object is created in heap and S1 points to it. Also, don't forget, every time a string is created using new keyword, that string is available in heap as well as in SCP pool. Remember? So, this object also gets created in SCP, but nothing is pointing to it yet. Now, S2 is created without the new keyword. So, it deals with the SCP. Is there any string OK in SCP with the letter O in uppercase? Yes. S2 hence points to this object in SCP. Now, are S1 and S2 pointing to the same object? No. Output is hence false. So that's the end of this lecture. A very interesting one. See you in the next video.